There are so many here in Kampala. There are many in Nairobi. There are many, I suppose, in Middle East and Cairo. And you ask yourself, why?
Yes.
Why? So we should learn lessons from other places. Why on earth should we? This regime has made so many mistakes. But do we have to wait until we hit rock bottom, until we end up in a crisis? Or are some of these things that happen, like the internal electoral process, a wake-up call and say, no, we can't wait until we hit a crisis. We must carry out corrective actions so that even when there is a change by whoever or whichever group manages power, that they build on what they have found, a stable country, corrective actions, correct mistakes, and then build anew in a direction that we all desire.
And General, right there about the corrective actions, and this is where we've just recently finished the SEC elections that happened.
Yes.
And you saw how people are saying the high commercialization and monetization. And General, it's right there where you also coined that with a sense of survival, that people are now, it's, you know, how do I benefit? General, how do we as a country move beyond just when receiving a pocket tokenism that we saw at Kololo happening, moreover at the SEC level? How do we move past that and prepare the young people actually who are part of this conversation and a part of this governance question? How do we prepare as a country to ensure that this that has deeply entrenched does not continuously erode us from the direction of the democratic institutions that you speak of?
You see, there's contention between two ideological inclinations. And you'll find it in every society. It's not only unique to us. And the nature of politics in a country is a reflection of where that society is at that point in time. It will show you which group is the dominant force managing politics or driving politics. And naturally, there are two kinds of human beings. There are those who look at the whole as more important than the part, because we are simply part of the whole. Whole being, either you are in a clan, or you are in an ethnic group, or you are part of a religious group, or you are part of a country, as we are. So the dominant force of people who say, okay, let's take care of the whole, build the whole, ensure that the whole is stable, the whole has an internal environment in which people are able to have equal opportunities, be equal before the law, have justice, that there is fairness, there is even-handedness in the management of power, there is transparency in the management of national resources. People who know that when you grow the whole, then the part benefits because you are linked to the whole. There are those people who think like that. Yeah. When they are the dominant force, society will, you know, keep developing. They will meet challenges, but they will resolve them. It is very easy for people to relate easily in social terms, economic terms, political terms, cultural terms, even when there are differences. But then, at any point where you find the dominance in society is people who are driven by a mindset of myself first. Self above everything else.
Yes.
Not country above self,
yes,
or clan above self,
yes,
or basically society above self.
Yes.
If those who are in charge at any particular given time are those who are motivated by the ideological inclination of self above all, inevitably this is what you see, the outcomes of it.
Yes.
So that's why we have to focus and shift the balance of forces to the side of those who believe that, you know what, for us to survive as a people, we need to put the country first, above self, and that it is beneficial not only to society, not only the country, but to ourselves automatically. Because when a country is developing, look at the riches which we have in this country, even the potential which has not yet been exploited.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. But when you see, the problem is that there are many people whose main concern is how to survive individually.
Yes.
And you see it reflected fully in the NRM primaries. Those who many people cheated in broad daylight. They agree that they were cheated.
The counting of the people.
Right from the primaries at local government,
yes.
at members of parliament, at even in the internal party processes. That's what they have. That's what they give us. That's what they have given to themselves. That's what they give to us as a country. Yes. Don't expect any miracle to happen. Now we're going to elections. You find people wanting to vote for Genome 7, for example. Genome 7 is the architect of what we have seen in NRM. There's no doubt about that. People who have not reached that conclusion have a problem with their thinking processes. He's the architect of that problem. He's incapable of building institutions because his management style is a micromanager. And two, he wants to maintain control over power at any cost. Yes. He doesn't care about systems, he doesn't care about building institutions, and we see where we are at. So even those who are hanging around him, the moment if God is kind to us, because Museveni will exit one or another,
yes,
then we can retain a country intact. And then those who go in after him will have the burden of having to sort out all this mess. Most of the mindset, which was exhibited in that election in Kororo, but also the ones down. I mean, you meet people where there was open robbery. Fortunately, which is, I think, again, for us, the observers, it was by line. It wasn't even in the secret ballot. So it completely exposed the nakedness of the ruling party.
Yeah.
They're absolutely naked.
Yeah, and I think
so. Are they, is it like the other, is it a fable, whatever it is called, of the emperor and the young kid? The emperor who was naked. And then the courtiers were telling the emperor, they were fearing telling the emperor that, but you are naked.
But you're naked.
No, they were praising him and say, you look the most magnificent. Until a young kid said, but the emperor is naked. Is that what they are waiting for or what?
Interesting. General, maybe and in case you've just joined us, this conversation is live on our Facebook, it's live on our YouTube, and we're also live on our X handle, and you can please be sure to drop your question and a comment. We'll be dropping it to General. General, recently, and I just had to ask you this because, again, it touches. I see some questions that are coming in, especially people asking if you will be able to run for presidency. Recently at a funeral, you spoke about apathy and fear.
Yeah.
You've, right this evening, told us that we're not in a transition, we're in a crisis. That's how you've marked it. How do we deal with apathy? Because it's a reckoning threat. In terms of fear of the future of this country, there are people who are saying in 2026, please be in your village, vote, because there's likely of a crisis. Then there are people who have said we don't need to partake. It's the same thing. It's the routine of what we've seen for the last about 10 or 15 years. How do we deal with apathy and fear, especially when we have a very important democratic element like an election coming up in 2026?
First, we need to understand fear and demystify fear, first and foremost, through conversations, open conversations, because I am not so sure why people are so fearful about politics and governance. When you do analysis, there are more people who are dying because of other causes than those who are dying in politics. Someone just a while back just told me, I don't know whether that statistic is correct, that we lose 14 people per day in accidents. A while back, I don't know whether there's been any improvement. We used to, the statistic I recall was a couple of years ago, where we were losing about, I think, 19 women during childbirth every day.
Yes.
That's more than people who die because of politics. So are people going to stop moving in vehicles because they are dying? Are women going to stop giving childbirth because they die during childbirth? No, they continue.
Yes.
And yet politics is at the core of resolving actually those deaths.
Yes.
Because if you have got a sane government and it works on road infrastructure and it has got zero tolerance to bad driving, and they have got a police force which enforces it in a disciplined, systematic, methodical way,
yes,
you can reduce those 14 deaths to the most minimum per day. I mean, per day. You can actually reduce it even possibly 2
yes,
or none. There are countries where you don't find accidents.
yes.
The accidents are because of mismanagement, and it is rooted in politics. The dying of women in childbirth can be radically reduced to the lowest levels. I don't know, like the developed countries, some of them who have got the best, maybe you may find they are 1 or 2, or even less than 1%. I mean, less than one person, or well, it can't be less than one person. It
Yes.
could be 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know.
Mm.
Again, that's rooted in politics, because when there's good governance, there'll be good health services.
Yes.
But the point is, everything in life is a risk. Every day you get out of your house and you go to town or whatever you are going to do, it is risky. You
Yes.
can die.
Yes.
But you continue doing your things. So why do people pull back from politics and they fear to die? And yet we are going to die anyway. Why not say, I must concentrate on ensuring, okay, I may not go into something that people fear most, like going on the streets or maybe going and becoming an activist or something like that.
Yes.
There are people who are wired to do that. They'll continue doing that. Whether it is death or no death, those will continue.
Yes.
But if you are not wired that way, then you can influence things from, a distance. Put money into behind a candidate. Put money into a party. Send social media
Yes.
clips,
Yes.
which can influence thinking to shift the direction of things in a country. They're not going to go arresting 1-2 million people who keep on sending those messages. They are not going to do that.
Yes.
So people should operate within their comfort zones, but not become totally fearful to a point that what they feared actually will happen anyway. Because when you don't resolve these issues, eventually there's an implosion. Because let me say, like in Sudan, you think they are wherever they are. Many have run out of the country.
Yes.
So if you fear to get involved in doing things in a manner to prevent what could happen when you don't act, what you fear will still happen. Because when there's a total breakdown in a country, as we have seen some failed states, I mean, like Somalia, for 30 years they've been trying to fix it. But it's not fixed because people fear to resolve their problems early enough.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be involved in. Nobody should be fearful in engaging in things which can secure our future. To be fearful, and yet through fear, you fail to prevent what will happen to you down the road, which you are fearful over now. It doesn't make sense to me. I could understand a peasant. What I can't understand in anybody who is educated, who can't understand that. That if you don't participate now in shaping governance questions so that we never fall into a crisis,
Yes.
if you don't act now, and then we actually, through your non-participation, things are run down to a point where there is a crisis, and then it impacts on you. It will show that you basically don't understand. That you went to school, but you didn't understand a number of things which happen, day-to-day things, logical things. Nothing changes by itself. People have to act.
We have to be involved.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And in case you just joined us, that's General Mugisha Muntu speaking to us this evening. And in case you've just joined the conversation, there are key things that General has just been saying, that there's a conflict, there are clashes. We have people who are not for self, there are people who are for self, there are people who are not considering, country first. So we need to see how we play out on those dominant forces. But also, most importantly, I think on the question of commercialization, General has said that people give what they have. The NRM and the ruling party has showed us that this is what they can offer. So are we willing to actually keep on, waiting on that tokenism, or we actually need to change the direction. And lastly, General has actually also noted that apathy and fear is not something that we need to take on. We just need to be part of something that we would like to see. General, I'd like now to get into the questions that are coming in from X. These are some of the questions that we've just received. Please, in case you have a question for General, please drop it within the link and we'll be able to read it out to General. General, this is Newton Carrera. He's saying, having served closely with President Museveni, what lessons do you take from his leadership, both positive and negative? Ugandans believe that we need a generational shift in leadership. As a general with roots in NRM, how do you position yourself as a bridge between the old and the new?
The difference between us, really, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't even have to be me. It could be someone else. But it should not be based, I suppose, the most logical thing I look at it, it can't be on edge. It can't be an edge factor. It is the difference in thinking, and it is thinking which leads to actions. Because General Museveni's biggest weakness is basically he's a micromanager, one, and he has got inner contradictions within himself, whatever the cause of them. I am not able to, I can't psychoanalyze him. I'm not, nor can anybody psychoanalyze him anyway. Because psychoanalyze a person, they would have to present themselves and discuss whatever would have been the cause of whatever
they're going through.
Insecurities lead him to want to become, to control everything. Because he's incapable of delegation, for example. And anybody who can't delegate, it is not only General Museveni, it's not even in politics. We have seen people who have built huge companies, multi-billion-dollar companies. But then you find they suffer from the same problem. You find that they are, they're incapable of delegating, so they build something through charisma.
Yes.
But they don't build internal systems which are long-lasting. Because where there is that kind of control measures that are applied by people who are micromanagers, it creates fear within that organization. And the people who are of that nature, who apply that management style, never plan for succession. And literally all of them are always oblivious of what happens after them. They care about what they are doing. And yet success is not about what you are doing. Actually, success can only be measured by what happens after you. Is there continuity?
Yes.
Now, when you don't build systems and institutions which are strong, which will survive beyond you, most times when you leave, whatever you are heading implodes. We've seen multi-billion-dollar companies go down. We have also seen in politics it's even more visible over a period of time. Micromanagers end up destroying literally systems and institutions. And then you'll find inevitably there is an atmosphere of fear within the organizations that they lead. And you can read it with NRM. With NRM, you'll meet 10 people and 8 of them will agree with you on the same analysis. But they cannot speak out because that internal atmosphere of fear is so deeply entrenched. And the micromanagers desire it so. Because they don't care about participation because and promotion of merit. Because at the same time, micromanagers, for some strange reason, don't have confidence in themselves. Because people who have no confidence in themselves
yes.
feel threatened by people who are better than them or who are equal to them. That's why people of talent can't easily come up because they are seen as a threat. It's a natural human reaction It is not only unique to in our situation, for example, Germ 7. It is to anybody.
Yes.
I mean, we have seen it all over the world, in companies and in politics. So that's why you find countries which don't have strong systems and strong institutions to check people who happen to be in politics when they have got those weaknesses. I mean, I see like in Europe, I see like in the United States at times, they have got leaders who could just be doing the same things, but they are checked by institutions. They are checked by functioning systems. That's what we need to be focused on, to keep building those institutions, keep building those internal systems of governance. If we don't succeed, we remain vulnerable. I mean, we can see clearly. We just had an exercise, I think it's about 6 months.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, in any society where the levels of consciousness are high and the people are in charge of their own political environment, systems, this government will just be out now.
Interesting. We'll get into the question by Amon. Amon is saying, General, we have seen a lot of money in politics bombarding our democracy. So
therefore the transition must be people who will replace this system and be able to fix or establish a foundation on the basis of which there can be better governance.
Yes.
What is their thinking? What drives them? What motivates them? What are their skills in management of societal affairs? That's the question. If there are people who have a different way of doing things, different thinking, there are people who care about building institutions, there are people who care about building functioning systems, there are people who care about equality before the law, equal opportunities. Yes, they can fix the problems. But if there are people whose thinking is similar, those who are there, it doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter, their height or weight or color or ethnic background or religious background or age, that doesn't matter.
What we
if
put
the
in
thinking is similar, they will do the same thing.
They will do the same thing.
Yes, we have seen that happen for the last 60-something years. So people need to wake up, because I keep hearing people digressing into some of those, because if you make a wrong diagnosis, there's no way you can apply the right treatment. It's very, very critical.
Yeah.
You know, I see some of the young people getting lost in those. You see them offering solutions, and you can see that they are not paying attention. The difference is not anywhere else. It is not on gender. It is not on ethnicity. It is not on religion. It is not on height. It is not on weight. It is not on color. It is not in names. It is not on anything.
Yeah.
It is the thinking. The thinking similar, or is it different? And
that's what we need to work on.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I just want to take one more or 3 questions that came in. This is from William. He's saying, is there a possibility? Is there a possibility of the opposition parties fronting one candidate? And what's your take as Ant on all the opposition parties front one candidate?
Again, that's another thing that many people seem to think that that's the solution. I have never thought that that necessarily is the solution. Because in any case, even when we do not, in organizational terms, agree on one candidate, the population always rises around one anyway.
Yes.
But at times you need to do analysis. There are times when you find that you need one candidate. But there are also times when you may find that the dynamics of politics in a country, when you do analysis, that you may possibly even need more than one. Suppose you find that the different demographics or the basis of different leaders are attracted to those leaders at times at an emotional level, not even by logic. If the attachment, for example, is emotional, there are times when you find that even if that leader went behind another one, he or she cannot move those who are behind him emotionally. So you may lose that whole chunk. Suppose you have that kind of situation. So if you find that you have 2 or 3 leaders whose bases are better retained than all of them going behind one person, and you lose many of them.
Yes.
then logically you would say, okay, let's see how we can go behind 1 or 2 or 3, even if it were 3, but coordinate effort and be seen to be united in running out a regime. And then people from whatever you are doing recognize that actually you are so closely working together, even when you are candidates yourselves, but your main focus is on the removal. But you are retaining people who are behind you because maybe demographics or whatever other factors cause them to be behind whatever candidates are running. And then, best case scenario, one of you overwhelms the incumbent on the first round. That's the best case scenario. And then you form government together and you run the country. Worst case scenario, you don't make it if they rig you out. But when that happens, you are still together because you are so well coordinated, and therefore the vehicle under which you are coordinating survives. And then you keep persecuting the struggle until its logical conclusion when you take power. Problem here, people are so fixed on one thing and say, if we don't have one candidate, then we are not together. How on earth? Suppose you have 5 things and you agree on 4 and you don't agree on one. Yes. Why should you break down? We are so emotional. I think maybe as an African people, I have never understood why. How can you let a vehicle that you are building, you agree on 3 things or 4, and then when you don't agree on one, everything breaks down? And in any case, you find that you are rigged out of an election, and then you need each other, and then you start from scratch. It doesn't make sense to me, but many times that thinking seems to be in a minority. So I normally just keep quiet and keep doing what I think is the best thing to do in the circumstances.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so in case you'd like to do a direct call, please, we have our studio lines. Please, you can make your call on 0700 9905 054, or you can also call on 0791 146762. We'll be able to pick up, and General will be able to take your question right away. So if you'd like to make a direct call, those are studio lines. Please, you can be able to call on 0700 999 054 or 0791 146762. Maybe as we wait for 1 or 2 calls to come through, General, the other questions that are coming through on X is a question on are you running again for presidency, and what new are you up to now and how? This is from Lawrence. Lawrence, okay. Yes.
Yeah, I've already picked forms. Our party is right now in the exercise of gathering signatures, but simultaneously we're having discussions with some partner parties. So we'll wait and see how that pans out.
Okay, okay. All right. I think, Lawrence, you've been answered. Maybe for studio lines, do we have somebody calling in? That is on 0700 999 054. You'll be able to get through to General. Will be able to ask your question. I think the other questions that I've just seen, General, again on X, what people are asking is a question that has come in from Amon, which I wanted again to ask. He said, General, we have seen a lot of money in bombarding politics. What is that Ant is planning to do to overcome this sort of problem? MPs spending billions to win an election. Just about this, General, I just wanted to give you a statistic that allegedly, I've not yet established this, but it's told in the news that the president called on youth elections and handed 500,000 to about 3,000 youth that were planning on voting.
Yes.
And when you make the math, that's about 1.6. This was spent in about a 40 minutes,
So
1.6 billion.
It's our money, so it doesn't have a problem.
So Amon is asking, General, we have seen lots of money bombarding democracy. And what is Ant planning to do to overcome this sort of problem? MPs spending billions to win an election.
It's all upon the population. The population has to make a choice. What do they want? They want, instant gratification, where you get 5,000 and feel good. And then 6 months down the road, you go to hospital, you take their patient, there are no drugs, and you end up spending 100,000 for treatment of malaria. The population has to make up its mind. What do they want? Because it's not only the leaders, because the leaders, okay, they have the money, but they are spending it on people who want to be bought.
Yes.
But you know what is strange though, is that you find like 5 candidates and all of them spending money around the same people. So you ask yourself, so in the end, whom will they vote for? So there's a total breakdown of moral values. But there's nothing which can't be fixed in life. Because I have a feeling that there's a point when people hit a war.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look at Buganda used to be in NRM, but they radically changed it within 6 months. So what happened in Buganda, and also Busoga? Jerem 7 lost Busoga at the presidential level. Yeah. So what happened in Busoga last time and Buganda needs to be sustained.
Okay.
And new regions like the West, I can tell you, if the West shifts, which I really would like to believe they should shift, if there are people who look in the medium long term, they would have done this country the most needed service ever that this country desires.
Wonderful. We had just got a caller coming in. Again, I'll just read our lines for those who would like to make your direct call to ask General directly your questions. That is 0700 999 that's the line you can call, or you can call on 0791 146. Yeah, we have a caller. Yes. Yes, General is listening. Go right ahead and ask your question.
Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Good evening, my presenter.
Good evening, sir. Your name and wherever you're joining us from.
My name is Franco Wambi.
Yes.
I am from Busoga in Luka here.
Yes, in Luka.
Oh, you're not so clear, my brother. Are you getting me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I have had a voice from our general. I thank you very much for hosting him.
Yes.
So I'm calling from Luka district here in Busoga.
Yes.
And I would like to know, my question is simple. How is General going to deal with that so that we suppress the party on ground, like in up-country areas? Which procedure is he thinking about to make sure that we put seedlings in these local areas of ours? Because I cannot say that we are so far so much heard about, but we would like to be heard about. How is he going to deal with some of us so that we make it a very big point on the ground? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. General, the gentleman is calling in all the way from Busoga and he's saying, yes, what are we going to do about the grassroots? Especially now for him who is at the grassroots, how are you going to spread out, yes, that the party is heard by all the people and understood?
One, through candidates like those to whom our message of Alliance for National Transformation resonates, can offer themselves to run as candidates. As councillor 0C3, councillor 0C5, as mayors of towns. And where they are not able to, they support our candidates. I don't know, for example, whether the colleague who called is in Luka North or Luka South. We don't have an MP candidate for Luka North, but I know we have a candidate in Luka South, Noah, and Tenywa, Noah in Luka South.
Yes.
We also have a number of candidates in Luka South for LC3 and for councillors.
Yes.
So the person who called, once we get candidates all over the country, people to whom these messages went to resonate with, they can offer themselves and run. And once they run, then they're the ones who disseminate the messages. Whether they're the ones who are at burials, they're the ones who are in churches and mosques, they're the ones who are in wedding places, they are the ones who remain, with the population down there. There is nothing that benefits a party more than having leaders and also candidates say during an electoral process when they have got leaders down at the parish, sub-county, constituency level. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I think we have a few minutes, but I just wanted to ask two more questions that I am just seeing on X, where I think again Newton is asking, how will your government balance security spending with investments in health, education, and agriculture?
Come again?
He's saying, how will your government balance security spending? I think he's looking at how will you balance spending on security, investments in health, education, and agriculture?
Yeah. Those four areas actually are so critical in the sense that, one, health, education, and agriculture, basically, which means food security and also nutrition in terms of food. Those are the three areas where you need to invest heavily because the human resource is the most critical resource in the development process. So you need to have a human being who is well-educated and also skilled, who is healthy, who is well-fed. And then you create an environment where there is security so that they can apply their God-given talents either in whatever area of endeavor they're in. If they're working for government, then they participate in the efficient delivery of services. If they're involved in the private sector, farming or industry, wherever they are, that there is security in which they're able to conduct their activities, and there is a general environment in which people are at ease with each other, there is no internal conflict. And therefore, much as they are skilled and educated, much as they are healthy, much as they are well-fed, that they are also able to do things which are ordinarily required in our lives. Industry, produce processed food, work on infrastructure, energy infrastructure, water, road and rail and bridges and water travel and air travel and work on the foundations for tapping into tourism and all nature of activities that also create jobs. So, yes, the four things he's raised are the most critical because they are around the individual. And the individual is at the core of the development process. And therefore, you must invest in that individual citizen to be healthy, be well educated and skilled, to be well fed, and also to be secure. So, we are together in the four areas that he did make mention.
General, maybe before my last question, this is from Joseph Michael. He's saying, General, I am so passionate about your quality of leadership. Only your ideology will rebuild Uganda after the NRM begins to eat itself up and the whole system scramble.
Thank you.
How best are you engaging the youth, and how can we team up with you? We need mentorship as young people.
Yeah. The youth can determine the future of this country because they are the majority. Like the youth who are in Kororo, half of them should just abandon NRM. Because they must see that's the reflection of what NRM is. That's what they gave them. They shouldn't hang on to there any much longer. For them, they must make a decision as we made when we were young. I was 23 years when we decided to go and fight in the bush. It was highly risky. But now, plugging out of NRM is not risky, really, for them, those who are there. Because if you have 8 million youth,
yes,
to say enough is enough, We are tired. We want to build a new foundation on the base of which our future can be shaped. It will determine the electoral fortunes of this country. So they must make up their minds, rather than hang on to people who are promising them money, and the money which they give them, like the ones who have been given 1 million. Do you think by end of September they still have that money? So when it gets finished, what happens?
What happens?
What they need to ensure is that there are opportunities that they themselves can tap into by their God-given capabilities through the educational systems that they go through, so they are able to generate their own money, which they can make on their own, not go looking for 1 million, which after, I don't know whether it even takes 2 weeks.
It will be
finished. And then what?
And then what? Thank you very much. I will just, General, I will request you to give your final remarks as we wrap up this evening. We would like to, in a special way, thank all our listeners, the people who are joining us right on X, and then Facebook and YouTube. General, maybe your parting shots for this evening, and to everyone who's been listening to us this evening. What are your last comments, maybe your words, even as we gear up to this election season that we're already in?
Thank you, Peter, for hosting me. And I'd like also to thank all the colleagues who've put aside some time to engage in this conversation, to thank those who have asked questions. And through your, through influence, the spheres that you're able to influence, whether family, whether the workplace, within your social contacts. We just saw the nakedness of the party in power in the last 6 months. There's nothing new that you will see beyond what they have exhibited. Those of you who still had any sympathies with them, more so the young people, make a conclusion. Abandon that party. Let's start afresh and start building a new foundation on the base of which we can shape a better future, in which there can be equal opportunities, in which there can be fair play, even-handedness in the management of national affairs, have equal opportunities, have justice, have an environment that would creates jobs in all sectors, in industry, in agriculture, in services. Fortunately, we have a pool of young people who are educated, to give them more opportunities, to be skilled, but also to build a firm foundation on the basis of which we can manage our resources. Just as we read in the press, we have got vast resources of gold. I understand that almost, they talk about trillions. We have got rare earth, which has come. So if we don't have sane people managing those resources, don't think that because you hear those huge amounts of money that could accrue out of those resources, that necessarily the country will develop. We know many countries that have got even more than that, but where people are dying without health services. I don't want to mention names here, because some of them countries are close by. But we have also seen them in far-flung places. We have seen Latin America countries for 200 years which have been in a state of turmoil, yet they have resources. The human resource is the most critical factor. One, in terms of creativity and innovation, but also two, in terms of management of their own affairs. So in this particular case, the most critical factor is the human resources who are in the political management processes. Plug into there and say enough is enough, we want to chart a new direction. And then this country, within a decade, can be lifted to heights beyond our human imagination. I'd like to thank you for participating in this conversation. May God richly bless you all.
Thank you. And there you have it. We've come to the end of our conversation, the Ask Mugisha Muntu session this evening. Thank you very much for those who have joined us on X, those of you who are listening in on Facebook and YouTube. Until next time, please, we'll be very glad to have you. Until next time, please enjoy your evening, and may the good Lord richly bless you. Thank you.